What is procrastination? Procrastination is not laziness. It's the gap between intention and action, a silent weight that grows heavier the longer we wait. Where laziness implies a lack of care or effort, procrastination is often rooted in the opposite, a deep concern for the outcome. It frequently starts with the best of intentions. We set plans, mark deadlines, and envision clear goals. There is often a sense of excitement or purpose at the beginning, a desire to succeed, to complete a task, to make progress. Yet somewhere between the spark of motivation and the first real step forward, resistance begins to grow. This resistance can be subtle, creeping in as a distraction, self-doubt, or discomfort. The task may suddenly appear too large, too complex, or too uncertain to tackle. It may be something entirely new, a challenge that pushes us outside our comfort zone, or it may feel too important to risk getting wrong. In some cases, the path ahead is so unclear we become paralyzed by the thought of choosing the wrong starting point. We ask ourselves, what if I fail? What if I can't do it well enough? And so, rather than confronting these thoughts head-on, we delay. Procrastination doesn't make a dramatic entrance. It steals time quietly, subtle, unnoticed at first. One moment we have all the time in the world, and the next, we're watching deadlines creep closer, then passes by. The clock ticks louder, the pressure begins to build. What once felt like a manageable task now looms like a towering weight above us. There are many faces of procrastination. Firstly, there's the overwhelmed. This type of person feels buried by expectations and finds relief in only retreating, delaying, in hopes that the pressure will disappear. By taking comfort in simple pleasures and distractions, such as scrolling social media or watching a film, the overwhelmed procrastinator reduces the pressure by hiding away from the task itself. And so, by procrastinating, the task never gets finished, and the deadline draws ever closer. Secondly, there's the avoider. This is a person who turns away from the discomfort of the task at hand, not with outright refusal, but through quiet substitution. Instead of facing the work directly, they fill their time with other, less important activities. Anything that offers an excuse to delay. These actions often come disguised as productive, tidying the room, doing laundry, making endless cups of teas or snacks throughout the day. On the surface, these tasks seem helpful. These activities, while seemingly useful, serve only one real purpose: to distract. The avoider tricks themselves into feeling accomplished, as though they've made some progress toward their goal. There is a subtle reward for ticking off those smaller, easier tasks, a temporary relief from guilt or pressure, but in reality, the core task remains untouched. And this delay in focus has lost them another day, and the ever-looming deadline draws even closer. Thirdly, there's the pleasure seeker. This is the individual who instinctively gravitates towards immediate gratification rather than long-term reward. Faced with a difficult or tedious task, the pleasure seeker doesn't confront it, they trade effort for escape. Rather than engage with something that demands sustained focus, they turn instead to what feels good right now. This could be playing video games or diving into hobbies that are far more enjoyable than the work waiting in the background. These activities might seem harmless. After all, we all need breaks and things that we enjoy. But for the pleasure seeker, these are pauses from productivity. With every burst in dopamine, the real task becomes another step further away. Finally, there's the perfectionist. This is the person who either cannot begin or cannot bring themselves to finish, because no version of their work ever feels good enough to be seen, let alone shared. For the perfectionist, every step forward is met with self-critique, second-guessing, and the overwhelming urge to revise, refine, or start over entirely. Progress becomes a painstaking dance, one step forward, one step back. The perfectionist is often deeply driven. They care intensely about the quality of what they produce. They hold themselves to extremely high standards, not out of arrogance, but out of fear of judgment, fear of failure. As a result, they lose time, and the task never gets completed, due to the deadline once again drawing ever closer. So, is there any hope or resolution to stop procrastination? There are certain things that you can do to try and mitigate procrastination. Start with 2 minutes. Begin a task, even if imperfectly. Set a small window of time to focus and allow yourself a reward for showing up. We can also try changing your environment. Being in a familiar location, which could be surrounded by distractions, usually lead us to hiding away from the task. By eliminating the temptation of distractions around us, we allow for more chances for success and focus on the task. There is no guarantee that we can actually stop procrastinating, but there are measures we can put in place to try and prevent it from happening in the first place. And remember, the first step is always the hardest, but as long as you give it a go, that's all that really matters.